I need that shipment cleared by Sector Gamma before the patrols arrive. 50 credits, firm price.
Broken lamps
Take it or leave
above
it.
long
Step
metal
aside.
streets. Traders shouted
Get
prices.
your synth meat.
Machines
Best price
buzzed.
in the quadrant.
Hungry
Cybernetics.
people pushed
Half
through
off
the crowd.
today only. Don't
no one
miss
stopped
out.
for long.
Fresh
No
water.
one cared
Credits
about anyone
only.
else. Near the end of the market, under a weak blue lamp, an alien mother stood very still. She was tall and thin, with pale silver skin and tired eyes. Her clothes were old and torn. Her hands shook from hunger, but she held her child close as if her arms were the last safe place in the galaxy. The little boy looked no older than 5. His face was weak. His eyes were half closed. He had not cried for some time now. He was too hungry for tears. The mother's name was Lyra. 3 days ago, she still had hope. She still believed she could find food, hide from danger, and keep her son alive. But hope had become weaker with each empty hour. Every door had closed. Every street had turned cruel. Every face had looked away. Now she stood in the one place she had promised herself she would never enter. The slave market. A thin metal band was locked around her wrist. A price tag hung from it, moving softly in the wind.
That hope became
Lyra could feel people
weaker
looking at her, judging her,
with
measuring her,
each
like she was no
empty
longer a
hour.
mother, no longer a person, only a thing to be bought. But Lyra did not care what happened to her anymore. She only looked down at her son.
Look at
Eli's
this
small
one.
fingers held tightly
Strong
to
enough,
her arm.
perhaps.
He did not understand everything, but he understood
How much
enough.
for the child?
He knew his mother was afraid. He knew they were alone, and he knew he was hungry. "Stay close," Lyra whispered softly. Eli nodded, too weak to speak.
Look at how she holds
A
herself.
group of buyers walked past them.
Not exactly
One
flawless,
laughed.
is she?
Another looked at Lyra,
I wouldn't
and then
pay
at her
much for
child
that
with cold
defiance.
interest. She turned her body to hide Eli. Her heart beat faster. Fear rose in her chest, but she stayed silent. Then she saw him. A human. He stopped in front of her and said nothing. The crowd noticed at once. A few people smiled. They thought they knew why he had come. The human looked at Lyra. Then he looked at Eli. Then he looked at the price tag on her wrist. Lyra's breath caught. The market master
Stay
stepped
close.
forward with a greedy grin. "Good choice," he said. Weak, quiet, and desperate. The human reached into his coat, and Lyra knew that in the next few seconds, her whole life was about to change.
Good choice.
The market
Weak,
became strangely quiet. Lyra could still hear the machines
desperate.
above her and the distant sound of traders shouting in other streets, but around her, everything felt still. Too still. Too many eyes were watching. The human stood in front of her like a man who did not belong in that dark place, yet was not afraid of it either. He was taller than most of the people in the crowd. His coat was long and dark, with dust from many worlds still on it. There was nothing rich or fancy about him, but there was something hard in his face, something calm, something dangerous. The market master gave a wide smile. "Human," he said, rubbing his hands. "You chose a weak one. She may not last long. The child is extra." Some people nearby laughed. Lyra lowered her eyes. Shame burned
seems we
inside
have a
her,
deal then.
but she said nothing.
A very
Eli
profitable
pressed his
arrangement.
face into her side, hiding from the crowd. The human did not
Human,
laugh.
You chose a
He looked
weak
at the market
one.
master with
She may
cold,
not
flat
last
eyes.
long.
"She is
The
not
child
weak,"
is
he said.
extra.
"She is starving." The laughter stopped. The market master's smile became thinner. "Then you understand the risk." The human reached into his coat and pulled out a
Step
small
right up,
credit
ladies
chip.
and gentlemen.
He
You
placed
won't
it in
see
the
this
market
every
master's
day.
hand without
the
another
finest
word.
spectacle in
The man
all of
checked it,
creation.
and his eyes
Only
opened wide.
Here.
"It is
She
more
is
than
not
enough,"
weak.
he said.
She is
"I know,"
starving.
the human replied. Lyra looked up in surprise. No one paid extra in a place like this.
You
No
find
one
this
gave
amusing.
more than they had to.
I assure you,
In the
there is
markets of
nothing
Zeta
funny
9,
about this
kindness was
situation.
rare, and waste was foolish.
Then you understand the risk.
So why had he done that? The metal lock around Lyra's wrist clicked open. The sound was soft, but to her it felt louder than thunder. She was free from the chain, but not truly free. Not yet. "Move," the market master said. "You belong to him now." Lyra flinched at those words.
It is more than
Eli
enough.
looked up at the human with wide, fearful eyes. For one long second,
I know.
no one moved. Then the human did something that made the whole crowd stare. He knelt down in front of Eli, not like a buyer, not like a master, like a person speaking to a frightened child. "You look hungry," he said gently. Eli hid behind Lyra's leg. The human stood again and turned toward a nearby food stall. He bought warm bread, a packet of dried meat, and a bottle of clean water. He did not give the food to Lyra. He gave it to Eli first. And for the first time that night, Lyra felt something even stranger than fear. Confusion. Because monsters took. But this human had just given, and that was far more dangerous to her heart.
Little one.
The human ship did not look warm
You're
from the
safe
outside.
now.
It was old,
No one will hurt
gray, and
you.
marked by years of travel. Scratches covered the metal walls. One engine made a low, rough sound as if it had survived too many bad days. To
You look
Lyra,
hungry.
it looked like the kind of ship that carried cargo, not kindness. She stood at the entrance ramp with Eli in her arms and fear in her chest.
Don't be afraid,
The human
son.
stepped inside first, then turned back
This
toward
is for
her.
you.
"You can come in," he said. His voice was calm, but Lyra did not move. In her world, calm voices often came before cruel orders. Eli lifted his head slowly. He was no longer shaking as much. The food had helped, but not enough. His small fingers still held tightly to Lyra's shoulder. The human seemed to understand. He stepped to the side and gave her space. That small move felt strange. Buyers did not make space. Buyers pulled, pushed, and commanded. But this man only waited. At last, Lyra walked into the ship. She looked around at once. No chains, no holding
You can
cage,
come in.
no shock walls, no locked collars hanging by the door. Only narrow halls, soft white lights, and the quiet sound
It's
of
all right,
machines
Lyra.
working in the background.
You're safe now.
Her eyes moved from one corner to another,
We can go
searching
inside
for the
where it's
truth hidden
warm.
under the surface. There had to be something. A room for prisoners. A lock she had not seen. A trap waiting for the right moment. But all she saw was a lived-in ship. A jacket thrown over a chair. A toolbox near the wall. A half-open storage crate. And on a small table, an old cup that still smelled of coffee. The human closed the ramp and touched a control panel. The ship hummed softly as the doors sealed shut. Lyra's body grew tense. Now, she thought, it begins. The human turned toward her. "My name is Aaron." She said nothing. He looked at Eli. "And yours?" Eli pressed his face against Lyra and stayed silent. Aaron nodded as if he expected that. "That's all right." He led them down the hall and opened a small room. Inside were 2 clean beds, folded blankets, and a heater glowing softly in the corner. "You can stay here," he said. Lyra stared at him, unable to hide her shock. "That's all?" she asked quietly. Aaron looked at her for a moment. "That's enough for tonight." Then he placed a small medical kit on the bed and stepped back toward the door. "You are safe here," he said. Lyra had heard many lies in her life, but somehow that simple sentence was the hardest one to understand. Because if the human was telling the truth, then everything she knew about survival, fear, and power was about to change. Lyra
My
did
name
not
is
sleep that
Erin.
night.
And
The
yours?
small room was warm. The beds were soft.
That's all right.
Eli was finally resting, his weak body wrapped in a clean blanket. For the first time in many days, he looked peaceful. But peace did not enter Lyra's heart. She sat near the door and
You can
listened.
stay here.
The ship made quiet sounds
all?
around her. A soft hum from the engines. Light steps from somewhere down the hall. A short beep from a control
That's enough
panel.
for tonight.
Everything felt normal. That was what made it worse. Nothing about this felt real. A few hours earlier, she had been standing in a
You are
slave
safe
market with a
here.
price tag on her wrist. Now she was on a human ship, in a clean room with food in her stomach and no chain around her body. Her mind refused to trust it. She stood up slowly, careful not to wake Eli, and moved toward the half-open door. The hallway outside was empty. White light covered the metal floor. The ship felt still, but not asleep. Lyra stepped out and followed a faint voice. It came from the front section of the ship. She stopped near the control room door and listened from the shadows. Aaron was inside, speaking through a comm device. "I know what I did," he said. A sharp voice answered through the speaker. "Then you also know the Syndicate will not let this go."
That normal feeling is
Lyra
what makes
froze.
it worse. Nothing about
syndicate.
this seems real to
Even
Lyra.
hearing the name made
A
her
few
blood
hours
run
earlier,
cold.
she had been standing in a slave
They were
market.
going to die there, Aaron said. His voice was low but strong. I was not going to walk away. You bought a marked woman, the voice replied, and her child. That market tracks every sale. If they want their property back, they will come. Property. Lyra closed her eyes. Even now, the word followed her. Aaron spoke again. She is not property. There was a short silence. Then the voice on
Lyra,
the speaker became softer.
you have to find me.
Aaron,
They're coming.
this is bigger than one act of mercy. You could lose your ship.
The
Aaron
readings
looked
are
down at the
unstable.
controls.
I repeat, the
I
energy
lose it.
signature is fluctuating rapidly.
Lyra felt something
We need
move
to
inside her
initiate the
chest.
lockdown sequence
Not
immediately.
trust. Not yet. But something
what I
close to
did.
it. She stepped back before he could see her and returned to the room. Her hands were shaking again, but now for a different reason.
Then you also know
A few
the
minutes
syndicate
later,
will
Aaron
not
entered
let
quietly.
this go.
He noticed she was awake.
They were gonna
For a
die
moment,
there.
neither of them spoke. Then Lyra asked
was
the one
not
question
going to
she could
walk
not
away.
hold back. Why did you do it? Aaron
You
looked
bought a
at
marked
Eli,
woman.
sleeping on the bed.
And her child.
Then he looked at Lyra.
That market tracks every sale.
Because no mother
If they
should
want
have
their
to sell
property
herself
back,
to
they
keep her
will
child
come.
alive.
Property.
Lyra had no answer for that. But
Property.
before she could speak again, the ship suddenly gave a loud warning sound. A red light flashed in the
She
room.
is not property.
Aaron turned toward the hall at once. Then the ship system spoke in a cold voice. Unknown vessel detected. Pursuit confirmed.
Aaron, this is bigger than
The
one
red
act
warning
of
light
mercy.
turned the whole ship
You
into
could
a
lose
nightmare.
your ship.
It
Then I
flashed
lose
across
it.
the walls, across the floor, across Eli's frightened face. The soft room that had felt safe only seconds ago now looked cold and dangerous. The peaceful silence was gone. In its place came the sharp sound of alarms and the deep shaking of engines pushing harder. Aaron moved first. "Stay here," he said. But Lyra was already on her feet, holding Eli close. She had heard that cold voice before on other ships,
Why did you
in
do
other
it?
terrible nights. A
Because
ship
no
only spoke
mother
like
should
that
have
when
to
death
sell
was
herself
close.
to keep her child alive.
Another alarm rang out. Pursuit vessel closing distance. Aaron looked
Unknown
toward the
vessel
hall, then back
detected.
at Lyra. His face was
Pursuit
calm,
confirmed.
but his eyes were hard now. Different. No longer just kind. No longer just quiet. Now she could see what the market had not understood.
Brace for
The
impact.
human was dangerous,
Lyra,
not to
grab
her.
my hand.
to anyone
We
who
need to
came for
move.
her child. He opened a wall locker near the door
Get down,
and
both
pulled
of
out
you.
a small
Stay close
black
to the wall.
weapon.
We need to move
Then
now.
another metal device Lyra did not know. He placed the second one in her hand.
Stay here.
She stared at it. "It's a shield trigger," he said. "Press this side if someone gets too close." Lyra looked up in shock.
Alert.
"You
Hull
trust me with
integrity
this?"
compromised.
Aaron
Life
gave a short
support
glance
failure
toward
imminent.
Eli.
Evacuate
"I
immediately.
trust a mother protecting her son."
Pursuit vessel closing
The
distance.
ship shook hard. Eli cried out and grabbed Lyra's arm. She pulled him close and whispered soft words into his ear, though her own heart was pounding like thunder. Aaron touched a panel on his wrist. A blue screen came alive in the air. "One ship behind us," he said quietly. "Fast, armed, syndicate." Lyra's stomach turned cold. "They found us this quickly?" "They never stopped watching that market," Aaron replied. He moved toward the control room, but then stopped at the door. For 1 second, he looked back at them. That second mattered, because it was not the look of a man
It's a
protecting
shield trigger.
cargo.
Press this side if
It was
someone
the
gets
look
too
of a
close.
man protecting people. "Lock this room after me," he said. "No matter what you hear." Then he was gone. Lyra shut the
You
door and
trust me with
sealed it.
this?
The lock clicked into place. For a moment, there was only breathing. Hers, Eli's,
I trust a
the
mother
ship's.
protecting
Then
her
came the
son.
first ooter. A blast hit the back of the ship so hard the walls screamed. Lights broke above him. Eli
Don't
fell to
worry,
his knees.
Eli.
Lyra
I have
grabbed him
you.
before his head struck the
Just
floor.
stay right here with me.
Far away, metal
It's
groaned
almost
like
over.
a wounded animal. Then the ship speakers
One
came
ship
alive
behind
again.
us. Fast.
Hull damage detected.
Armed.
Lyra
Syndicate.
held Eli tighter. Outside the room, somewhere deeper in the ship,
They
Aaron
found us
had
this
gone
quickly?
to face the hunters alone. And for the first time since the market, Lyra did not fear what the human might do to her. She
They
feared what
never
would happen
stopped
to
watching
him.
that market.
The ship was still shaking. Small pieces of metal fell from the ceiling. Smoke moved through the hallway outside the room. red warning light kept flashing again and again, like the ship itself was afraid. Lyra held Eli close and tried to stay calm.
Lock this room after me, no matter
But
what you
calm was
hear.
becoming harder. She could hear distant footsteps now, heavy ones, not Aaron's. These steps were rough and fast. They were getting closer. Eli looked up at her with wide eyes. "Mama." His voice was small. Lyra
Hull
touched his
damage
face
detected.
gently. "Stay behind me." The footsteps stopped outside the door. For 1 second, there was
got you!
silence. Then the door shook under a powerful hit.
Hold on!
Eli gasped.
Lyra,
Another hit came.
the ship.
Then another.
We have to
The
move.
lock would not last long. Lyra looked around the room. 2 beds, 1 heater, a medical kit, a water bottle. Nothing useful, nothing strong.
It's okay, baby.
Then she remembered
I've
the
got
small
you.
device Aaron
We're
had
gonna be
given her.
fine.
The shield trigger.
We're gonna
Her
be
hand
fine.
closed around it. The door bent inward with a loud crack. A cold voice came from outside. "Open it and no harm will come to the child." Lyra's blood turned to ice. She had heard lies like that before. No harm. Quick work. Simple deal. Empty promises from cruel people.
Stay behind
Her
me.
fear was still there. But now, something stronger stood beside it. A mother's anger. The door burst open. A tall syndicate hunter stepped inside, wearing dark armor with a glowing mask over one eye.
It's breaking!
Another man stood
We have to
behind
run!
him with a shock weapon in hand.
We stand our ground.
They looked at Lyra like she was an object found and returned. "There you are," the first one said. "You caused trouble." He took 1 step forward. Lyra pressed the shield trigger. A blue wave of light exploded between them. The lead hunter flew backward and slammed into the wall. The second man shouted in surprise and raised his weapon, but Lyra moved before he could fire.
Open it,
She
and no
grabbed the
harm
heater
will
from
come
the
to the
floor and
child.
threw it with both hands. It hit his arm hard. The weapon dropped. "Run," she told Eli. Eli rushed behind the bed, shaking but moving fast. The second hunter recovered and reached for Lyra, but she did not step back. She picked up the fallen shock weapon and struck his chest with it. Sparks burst across his armor. He screamed and dropped to one knee. The first hunter stood again, angry now. "You think you can fight us?" he growled. Lyra was breathing hard. Her arms hurt. Her legs
There
felt
you
weak,
are.
but she kept
You caused
standing.
trouble.
"Yes," she said. At that moment, Aaron appeared in the broken doorway. There was blood near his brow. Smoke marked his coat. His eyes were sharp and burning. The hunter turned too late.
What?
Aaron
Get
hit
back!
him once,
Take
hard
that!
enough to send him
Ah,
crashing
you
to the
broke my
floor.
arm.
Then everything became still. Aaron looked at Lyra, then at the weapon in her hand, then at the 2 fallen men. For the first time, a small smile touched his face. "Good," he said. "Now they know you are not prey." And Lyra realized something important. She was no longer just surviving. She was fighting back.
Think you can fight us?
Morning came slowly, not with peace, but with silence after fear. The battle was over. Smoke still moved through parts of the ship. Broken wires hung from the ceiling. One wall near the hallway was black from fire. The floor was marked with ash, blood, and pieces of armor. It did not look like a place where hope could live. And yet, for the first time in a long while, Lyra felt something close to it.
Good.
Eli
Now
was
they
sleeping
know
again,
you are not
wrapped in
prey.
Aaron's spare jacket. His small body was safe. His breathing was soft. That was all that mattered. Lyra stood near the control room door and watched Aaron work. He moved slowly now. The fight had cost him more than he showed. There was a cut above his eye. His hand was burned. His left arm shook each time he reached for the controls. But he kept working,
It does not
guiding
look
the
like a
ship
place
through the
where
dark
hope
space
could
ahead.
live.
He did not complain once. Lyra stepped closer. "You need rest." Aaron gave a tired smile. Soon, she looked at the stars through the front glass. "Where are we going?" Aaron touched a final command, then leaned back in his seat. "Home," he said. Lyra frowned. "Your home?" He looked at her, then at Eli. "If you want it to be." For a moment, she could not speak. No one had offered her a home before. Shelter, yes. Orders, yes. Chains,
You need
always.
rest.
But a home, that was a word from another life. A word from before war, before hunger, before loss.
Where are
Aaron
we going?
opened a small storage box beside his chair and took out 2 thin data papers. He held them out to her. Lyra took them with shaking hands.
Your home?
She read slowly.
Your home?
Her eyes widened. Freedom
If you want it to
records.
be.
One for her, one for Eli. Official, signed, protected by human law. She looked up at him in shock. You did this before the attack? Aaron nodded. I did it the moment I brought you on board. Why? His answer came without delay. Because I never bought you to own you. The words hit harder than the battle. Something inside Lyra finally broke. Not from pain, not from fear, from relief. Tears filled her eyes before she could stop them. She turned away, but it was too late. Aaron had seen. He said nothing.
You did this
He gave her that
before
kindness
the attack?
too. Silence.
I did it the moment I brought you on board.
A few hours later, the ship entered orbit above a human colony. It was not grand or shining. It was simple. Warm lights, safe landing towers, homes built close together.
Why?
No cages,
Because I
no
never
armed
bought
traders,
you to own you.
no price screens. When they stepped off the ship, no one looked at Lyra like she was for sale. A woman came forward with food and blankets. Another knelt and smiled at Eli. No one asked for payment. No one asked what they could take. Eli looked up at Lyra, confused but smiling. And Lyra understood at last. She had sold herself to save her child, but the human who found her had given them something greater than survival. He gave them a
Here,
future.
wrap this around the boy.
And for the first time in many broken years,
both look cold.
Lyra stepped forward not
Hello
as prey,
there, sweet
not as
one.
property,
Welcome home.
but as a mother walking into a home without a price.